Right now, I do want to bring you a live look at several different cities across the country here, as New Orleans and Minneapolis are the latest targets of the Trump administration's federal immigration crackdown. You can see some live images right there, as there was another operation in a city like Chicago, also Charlotte, North Carolina. Now, Homeland Security's Assistant Secretary, Tricia McLaughlin, posting about the New Orleans operation here on social media. Let me pop that up for you on your screen. Now, she did say DHS law enforcement has been surged to New Orleans, Louisiana, to target the violent criminal illegal alien that sanctuary politicians have allowed to roam free. President Trump and Secretary Kristi Noem will never.
Hey guys, welcome to the video. Um, this is Justin Paul, and in this video, they're sending ICE agents to New Orleans and Minneapolis, and also Chicago, because they're looking to target violent criminal illegal aliens. That they're saying sanctuary politicians have allowed to roam free in those cities. As we do know, they've been to Charlotte and other areas now in the United States. So the Department of Homeland Security is very busy. ICE agents are very busy. They're all over the place, and I'm not sure if you guys go on to like job posting websites such as Indeed and other job posting sites, but I know specifically on Indeed, which I use quite often. They're always hiring for the Department of Homeland Security, or becoming an ICE agent, or becoming border patrol. You're going to go on those sites and you're going to see those postings, because they're paying to promote those positions being open. And this is just a part of the plan for this administration and the Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security. This is a part of their agenda. They're going to go and try to round up as many illegal aliens that are committing crimes and being violent and being a detriment to society as they can. And you know we'll see what becomes of it. Like I said, they're very busy. They've not only Charlotte, they've been in several cities here in North Carolina. It just hasn't been publicized to the media as big as like Charlotte has. But they even went to Raleigh and places in surrounding areas like that. So um they're coming to major cities, that's for sure. And they're trying to get as many people rounded up as they can, even amongst the protesters that goes on in these places and stuff like that. So I'm gonna let the video play and get a little bit more perspective here.
First stop, making America safe again. Now, we do have a look at just some of the video here that is coming in out of New Orleans as those raids are officially underway. Federal agents, as I mentioned, have launched some high-profile immigration crackdowns in cities like Chicago and Charlotte as well, and another operation in Minneapolis expected to target Somali immigrants. I do want to bring in John Torres, former acting director of ICE, currently the president of Security and Technology Consulting at Guidepost Solutions, to discuss.
Them guys on the roof, like, man, hopefully y'all got y'all stuff together. Because typically you're doing all the hard jobs, honestly, like construction and stuff like that. Um, but they're gonna be coming and asking questions, that's for sure. And a lot of people are saying, "Hey, man, this is targeted," but they're trying to get a certain demographic of people, you know, that are not supposed to be here, but are here, and they may be committing crimes. They maybe bringing drugs in and all kind of stuff. They're not gonna keep dealing with it. It's just plain as that. They're not gonna be too many places where you can hide and be protected by certain politicians of these states. A lot of times, man, these politicians, man, I keep saying it, their pockets get fatter when they allow stuff like this to happen. So
Solutions to discuss all of this. Thank you so much, John, as always, for taking the time to be here with us today.
Good morning, Josh. Thanks for having me.
Good morning. Well, first off, I want to kind of go in reverse here and talk more generally about how exactly ICE goes about deciding where to go about these crackdowns there for immigration and the ICE raids. From your experience, can you kind of break down how that works?
Yeah, sure. Generally, Josh, the ICE has 25 enforcement and removal offices across the country and a few additional sub offices that report to those 25. And so at any given day, all of those offices are conducting operations based on the intelligence they gather, the tips they get from the community, and reports they get from local law enforcement, where law enforcement cooperates with them. So every day, those operations are ongoing. But as they decide to surge additional operations, they may focus on sexual predators, criminals that have been released from the jail, not turned over to ICE, or they may take a look at national security threats or potential imminent public safety threats. And so what you're seeing now, slightly different, is that under this administration, they're surging those operations in many cities, especially those that are sanctuary cities, meaning that the local law enforcement or government entities are not cooperating with ICE for immigration arrest purposes, for immigration enforcement. And so by surging additional enforcement support, they are sending all of the federal agencies in, and you're seeing a much higher presence from Customs and Border Protection. In other words, Border Patrol agents in the green uniforms, or field operations teams in the blue uniforms that you normally see at airports and ports of entry across the country.
And right now, you're taking a look at some of the areas that are impacted here. You have a
as he was saying, tips come in from the community, the local law enforcement is, cooperating and helping out with these operations. So, it's very targeted. They know the areas or where they need to be going, because a lot of times the law enforcement has already had contact with these individuals. So, again, I see a lot of people protest and stuff like that, which I get it. You have the right to protest, but a lot of people do that without knowing how these operations, are brought on, or why certain areas are chosen in order to conduct these operations. And as you were hearing it there, from someone who worked within this field, there is tips from the community. Um, leads, sent in, and they also get information from the local law enforcement. So, we'll have to see what becomes of this, and just really see how effective it is. I think it's gonna take them, at least a year or two, before we can actually finally like see the results of all these ICE operations, and just see if it's gonna bring about good, or if it's gonna still be like more of the same. And we'll just have to see. But I'm gonna go ahead and close this video out. Again, if you like my content, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. This is Justin Paul. Peace.